Hello, my MFA 608 students. Congratulations, Module 10. You did it. You made it to the end. Woohoo! High five. And give yourself $20. Congratulations, you did it. So this is really the wrap-up, not as heavy as a week as Module 9. Module 9 was the big one. This far, you made it this far, then you were in pretty darn good shape. All right, so let's go right to the learning objectives and kind of go through what we are doing for Module 10 just before we call it a day. Okay, so basically we're going to talk about, hey, you know what, we actually learned about coaching and editing and mentoring and stuff, so we'll kind of go back to what we thought about at the beginning of the class and maybe, well, how did things change? And then we'll also, they have us doing an acronym. Woo, how fun. Well, you'll get to see that. Okay, let's move on. Let's get to the module overview. So this is some great information. Again, just reminds you about how the journey is a process, right? Okay, and some excellent information again about revision, editing, and coaching, and mentoring, and whatever. I am gonna kind of rock the boat just a little bit, and just kind of take a little bit of a different opinion on one of the sentences right here. It says, "It is worth considering once more that the art and craft of writing is in the revising." I will politely disagree with that statement, as it's a little too inclusive. I would dare say that the art of writing, for me at least, and hopefully some of you can relate to this, a lot of the joy, the fun of writing for me is when I'm actually writing the first draft. And while I'm in the act of writing, ideas come to me. Probably 90% of what I write is stuff that is, I have an idea of the character, or the setting, and the conflict or the obstacle to overcome. And as I'm writing, the ideas will come to me about, how to, different things happen. That for me is the fun. That for me is the art. That for me is the creative part of writing. And so I can't say that, you can't really revise something that you haven't written. That doesn't really, make a lot of sense. I would say a lot of the art comes in the first draft, with the understanding you can't revise something if you haven't done it. So that's just I would say, we're considering once more that part of the art of craft and writing is in the revising. Revise it is a huge important step, but not let's not discount the fact that there is the actual creation part is a thing. Okay, have I beat that to death? Probably so. All right, let's move on. So the module at a glance, again, we're going to go through each of these activities, so let's not worry about that too much. Let's get right to the readings and resources. So one of the activities we're going to be doing is you get to make an acronym, and the resources here, there's a couple of websites. I've tested these out. They can kind of help come up, make an acronym. You're like, what am I doing here? Well, we'll talk about the assignment and see what it is. Again, it's fairly straightforward. This is just some tools to help you with that. Okay, let's get to it. All right. First assignment is the discussion board. So we're going to do a discussion board, and this one is on reflection. So we kind of did a discussion at the beginning of the class. We've done some discussions throughout the course of the course, I guess. All right, so basically just respond to this prompt. Explain how your view of editing and coaching has changed. Okay, why is that a question? I don't know. Okay, so, or explain how you plan to incorporate editing, coaching, and mentoring into your career plans. So again, just kind of respond to one of this. Maybe think about, well, coming in, this is kind of what I had in mind, or I didn't plan on doing any editing as my job, or whatever, okay? So really kind of whatever kind of relates to you is how you're going to respond to that question. Again, it's just a discussion board like we've done before. You just start a new thread, and you can take that from there. You can also access the discussion board by going course menu and discussions. All right, and then this is the acronym thing. So in this activity, you will develop your own revising, editing, coaching, mentoring acronym. Yay! Okay, acronyms and mnemonics are great ways to remember things. Okay, it's like, I can't even think of an example off the top of my head. Okay, but it's just basically you're putting together, maybe kind of find 4 words and come up with your own little acronym. And again, there is that the thing where you can, let's just go ahead and take a look at it. Let's go back. I want to go back, do it all over, but I can't go back, I know. So let's go to this one right here. Let's look at this website. Okay, so let's say I wanted to come up with an acronym for positive, okay? And I could enter a word. Let's say I put Morgan because it's my last name. Oops. Well, Derek. Okay, well, that's not what I put in. Let's try that again. Morgan. Start. Okay. All right, so an acronym for Morgan could be moving, one, restored, growing, active, and now. Okay, well, that's a reverse acronym. So basically what you're doing is that you're coming up with a word or just a series of letters that kind of help you remember the main points that you've gotten. You know, maybe 4 things. You know, professionalism, revising, you know, whatever, coaching, mentoring. Come up with just an acronym that helps you remember kind of the main key points of this class. Okay, it doesn't have to be any particular thing. Okay. That's super crazy, but that's just the assignment they want us to do, just to do something fun and creative, because who doesn't like to do stuff that's creative? Okay, so basically, if we, again, it's just an acronym, okay, so you just basically post it and say, hey, this is what it means, okay, and feel free to give comments, and it's another discussion activity. Well, there's that. Okay, 10-3, where are you? All right, the class wrap-up. Okay, so throughout this course, you and your peers have shared some information. At this time, I will provide the instructions, stuff that we have been doing throughout the course. Now, if you remember, under course menu and under discussions, I've talked about this throughout the whole course. Okay, if you scroll all the way down here, this is the class resources, graded in Module 10. Well, guess where we are? Module 10. What? Yeah, this is a graded assignment. What am I supposed to do? Well, let's gotta go ahead and show you. This is how it's supposed to be graded. Okay, so we'll actually go ahead and look at the rubric, and it's pretty straightforward. Okay, and I honestly, I will be, you know, it didn't say exactly how many you had to do. Okay, basically you didn't have to do it every week, but it says you are expected to share a minimum of 5 resources. Okay, over the course of the term. Now, let me just be very clear on this. I didn't state that up front because, frankly, I didn't know that it was supposed to be 5 resources, okay? I knew that we were just supposed to be adding to it. Some of you have added 5 resources. Some of you have not done 5 resources, okay? But it says over the course of the term. Well, guess what? Module 10 is over the course of the term. So if you have not done a minimum of 5, well, go in and see how many you've done and put some in until you get to the minimum of 5. You with me? Basically, it's not just a link, okay, but also that you're going to do some sort of, you know, description of what that link is about, 1 to 2 sentences. So basically what I'm just going to do is I'm going to go through the discussion board and I'll have like a little checklist and I'll say, okay, how many did so-and-so do? And then I'll just check to make sure you did the 5 and make sure that you did these things. As long as you've added a source and had a little description and you get to 5, then you will get the evident on that, okay? And if you haven't done any, just get 5 in by the end of the course and you'll be fine. All right, it's going to be okay. You know what it's going to be? It's going to be okay. Alrighty, let's go over here. So, and then the last thing is the ePortfolio. Again, you may be familiar with this, the idea that you can actually store your files in the ePortfolio repository. This is something you have access to, you know, once this class ends, because, you know, basically, you know, once you finish this class, and if you just expect to be able to go back, well, within 60 days, it's all gone. Ugh. You no longer have access to the course. And if you haven't saved it anywhere else, well, you can save it in your ePortfolio. That's pretty straightforward. And I think that's it. Is there 10.5? I think there is 10.5. Yeah, the course wrap up. Yeah, there is. So the last thing to do, there's just like this little interactive video like they do here. It's this little flash thingy where you just play through it and go ahead and watch this video and do it. But really, you know, so there are a few deliverables for this week. There's the discussion boards. Basically, you know, what have you learned? The second discussion board is your acronym, and then the third activity is where you actually do make sure that you've got at least 5 of those things that you've done in that discussion board, which is found. And if you've already done 5, then great. You don't have to worry about 10-3. You're done. Okay, so that's it for week 10. We are done. I guess some final little words of wisdom or words of advice from me is as you finish your MFA, as you continue on, everyone is going to have like a different path, and really kind of seek out what you enjoy. I mean, there are so many different opportunities and so many different things. A lot of people, unfortunately, there's a lot of conceptions about that, oh, MFA, well, that's a nice little perk or a little treat you've given yourself. No, it's a lot more than that. A lot of schools consider MFAs to be terminal degrees. So like, for example, at the college that I teach, I actually get paid more because I have a terminal degree as opposed to someone who just has a master's degree. That's just a thing, because I'm specialized in that particular case. So I would say that, your MFA really opens the door for all sorts of different things. And as you've done your MFA, you'll kind of explore. You may want to end up being an editor. I mean, it's very lucrative to do that. You may have discovered that's your real passion, okay? And you'll still be writing on the side, but whatever. You may discover that this is just not for you, but at least you'll have an understanding of how the writing and mentoring and coaching side works. So as you are becoming a writer, you'll have that aspect as well. So that's one thing that's great about school, is you really get to explore things and get exposed to things that you may not have had exposure to before, to figure out, hey, that's something I hadn't thought about, it's really interesting, or hey, I've actually experienced that and that's not something I want to do, and that's okay. So my final word of wisdom that I try to give to every class is, this is just a general thing about life. I honestly believe that the world would be a better place, and almost all, if not all, of our social problems would end if people cared more about others than they cared about themselves. I'm not talking about communism. I'm just talking about a lot of the world's problems deal with selfishness. And that kind of goes in hand with mentoring. So just think about that, and just a thought. Okay, well, I wish you all the best with your future careers and stuff like that. And once you make it big, don't forget the professors that helped you along the way. All right, thanks and take care.